Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program and our Interplanetary Chase. In the previous episode, we've successfully launched and achieved a stable Kerbal orbit with the Kerbal Orbital Laboratory. We've fed it a little bit of data from the experiments we had on board and it is now passively producing science. Now, if you remember, in order to obtain the necessary technology to build said orbital laboratory, we needed to enact a bit of a flyby on Minmus, as we needed some science to gather some electrical generation parts. Now, there was a little bit of a missed opportunity there, as we had every opportunity to possibly land on Minmus. And obviously get some data from on the surface of Minmus. However, owing to the fact that we were desperate, we didn't actually do that. Therefore, what we're doing today is we're taking a previously proven design. We're going to use this design to land on Minmus. We're going to take that data back to the orbital station or orbital laboratory, provide it to the laboratory, and then hopefully get our Kerbal home safe and sound safe. A bit of a technical mission, however, I have faith that we'll be able to pull it off as we are finalising our designs. I'm adding a few struts here, as I'm hoping we can get an engineer from the station to add some struts to the engine fuel stage we've recently added. However, we'll see how that goes. Just adding some experiment storage, as I don't doubt we're going to need plenty of science storage. And I think we are more or less ready to go as we get Bob in the cockpit here. And off we go with our 4 Pollux boosters, as well as our absolutely massive engine, our liquid fuel engine at the bottom there. This thing accelerates very, very, very quickly, and we are slowly pushing ourselves up towards the upper atmosphere. Now, as you can see, our apoapsis is increasing very, very quickly, as is our footage's speed here, because once again, you've seen this many times before, and this is going to be quite an accelerated mission as we decouple the boosters there. Good separation, so far so good. You may also see that we've got another visual mod installed today. We're using the Firefly atmospheric re-entry effect, which is very new mods as of recording this. I believe it's only day 2 or 3 of it being released. And as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful as we begin attempting to circularise here. This engine's ISP is very good, it's quite efficient, not amazing when it comes to thrust, however it does what we need it to do, especially given our current altitude. We're not low by any means, owing to the solid rocket boosters there, as we bring our periapsis very close to the positives, as we push our periapsis above the atmosphere. We're now in a stable Kerbal orbit. It's a little bit wonky, 100 by 70, however, we're not going to be here for long. All we're doing is giving ourselves a bit of time to possibly plot a Minmus encounter. And I've accelerated this footage even more while I attempt to build this manoeuvre, because quite frankly, if I showed it at the pace that I was playing it at, it would be very, very painful. I'm going to be completely honest here, I'm not overly good when it comes to setting up manoeuvres. All I know regarding transfers to moons and other planets is that they have transfer windows where they have optimal amounts of delta V. You could theoretically do a transfer at any time, however it would be very, very inefficient. And obviously when it comes to the moon, in order to transfer to said moon, you literally just wait for it to appear over the horizon and you go. Now speaking of going, we've decoupled our lifter stage as we finally got our transfer manoeuvre here, and slowly pushing our apoapsis out in an attempt to secure ourselves a Minmus encounter. Once again, very slowly extending. Gets a little bit quicker as we push ourselves away from Kerbal's gravity well, and we have not got an encounter here, which is not good. So we need to do a bit of an inclination change halfway through our orbits here and see if we can correct our course. And we've overshot it a little bit, however, same mechanics apply. Keep on applying the throttle here, and as you can see, we do get an encounter. And we're going to add another manoeuvre here, just a rough manoeuvre to circularise, and then from there, that gives us all the time in the world to correct our orbit as required. So we're going to point our rockets manoeuvre grades, if that's even a thing, manoeuvre grade? I mean, it's more or less retrograde, isn't it, given we're trying to circularise, but that's besides the point. And we burn, and hopefully we'll see our ejection turn into a circle. As you can see, it's slowly starting to bend. And there we go, we're now in orbit around Minmus. So from now, we need to do a little bit of a inclination change to align our plane with either the moon or Kerbin. Reason being is because obviously we're going to be returning, and if we can fly along the equator-ish, we may be able to find a nice piece of flat ground to land on. And going to time warp to our manoeuvre because apparently it's 5 days away. And what's cool is knowing that throughout all of these manoeuvres, our station is passively generating science. As you may remember, we have already fed it some data from space in Kerbin. It won't be much. It's going to be a lot more if we manage to get this science from the surface of Minmus back to the station. Reducing our periapsis to just under 10 kilometers. And now we're going to point progrades in our current position, which means by the time we reach our periapsis, we'll be pointing retrogrades and we'll be able to kill our velocity. Now, there's a few things we could do here. We could either, obviously, circularize our orbits, or we could actually land here and now. And I believe we're going to do the latter there, as we're flying above the ice lakes, which are nice and flat. Science Alert is telling us there's an EVA report we could do, so we're going to quickly get Bob out, take that experiment, get back in, and we're going to transmit that back to the Space Centre, as there's no penalty in transmitting that particular experiment. So get that away from the craft and obviously get some science straight away, which is nice. Now, you may notice that we're actually landing using our transfer stage, because like I said about this rocket previously, it's very over-engineered, but I suppose it's in the Kerbal spirit to over-engineer these kind of things. And it's hilarious, because ultimately we don't end up using the landing legs or the scanning drill, or scanning arm better yet, because it's nowhere near the surface. I wasn't actually thinking we'd get to this point with this stage, but here we go as we touch down a little bit wonkily on the engine bells there. However, we do stabilise, as you can see. And look at all of those available experiments we have. So we've landed on Minmus for the first time. Wonderful stuff. So temperature scan, mystery gill observation. Lovely. Material study. That's going to be what makes up the bulk of our science, I reckon. 125 from the surface of Minmus and the Great Flats. Wonderful. Keep that. Crew report. Keep that. I would have transmitted that, however I didn't see it at the time. And EVA report as well. Wonderful. So EVA reports, 40 science, keep that. And we can also do a surface sample. Apparently we can do that from up here. I'm going to do that because I don't want to risk toppling the rocket as we get back in there. Now we're going to have a look at our stored experiments, if I remember correctly, just so we can see if there's anything that we can transmit back to Kerbin. So surface sample, nope. EVA reports, absolutely. Get rid of that. Wonderful. And once again, keep that surface sample. And as you can see from here, it's just a matter of circularising eastwards again. And from there, setting up a ejection burn back to Kerbin. Which will be a little bit finicky. However, I do have faith that we can pull this off. And obviously we need to find ourselves in the correct plane with the orbital lab as well. However, given that we're still using our transfer stage and are on our way home, I think we will have more than enough Delta V to pull this off as we accelerate this footage once again. As of now, it's just a matter of circularising and from there matching planes and ejecting from Minmus as we collect all of our experiments there away from the experiments we collect the science better yet, or the data. Here we go, it's circularising now, and now we have nothing to worry about when it comes to crashing, or at least crashing into Minmus as we begin our orbital corrections to return to Kerbin from the minty frontier. And as it would turn out, Minmus is not made of minty ice cream, and I'm sure that discovery is going to disappoint all of the scientists at the Kerbal Space Centre. And I'm sure they will consolidate themselves with some snacks as we make a quick save there just in case anything goes wrong for whatever reason. I've pointed our ejection burn in the complete wrong way, so we're just going to see if we can fiddle around with this a little bit. 50 meters per second to get ourselves into an extremely high Kerbin orbit. That will do because from there we can simply go retrograde at any point and bring our orbit down towards the surface. Time warp complete as we're getting very close to our manoeuvre. And just 5 of boosters there. And we have now ejected from Minmus. We are in the Minmus escape trajectory. inclination change just to match planes. As you can see, we're a little bit wonky as we are leaving Minmus's gravity well. However, that's not for another 22 days, so we have plenty of time, and we're going to time warp to that now. Bye bye, Minmus. Hopefully we may or may not see you again soon. I'm hoping we could go into planetary sooner rather than later, because as of now, all of our experiments have only been in the Kerbal system. So we need to ask the scientists to clean the scopes on their telescopes and make sure that what they're seeing isn't just a speck of dirt, right? So we finish our inclination change here. From here, just a matter of bringing down our periapsis. However, if we do so from our apoapsis, we actually end up with an unintended moon encounter. So we'll have to do this from our apoapsis instead. Might not be the most effective, however it works. We're just trying to get our theoretical periapsis to be at roughly 100 kilometers above the surface in order to match altitudes with the orbital laboratory there. Time warp complete, and we're ready to burn as we synchronise our times here and begin firing our engine once more. Moon encounter there, which we managed to burn past. Kerbal periapsis, 103 kilometers, wonderful. From here it's just a matter of circularising and getting ourselves back into a nice circle orbit around Kerbin. Now, as you can see, this manoeuvre will take just over 880 meters per second worth of delta V, and we have that left in the fuel tanks actually, so this was actually rather well synchronised, albeit unintended, but obviously we're going to do it regardless. And our manoeuvre node is moving relatively quickly, all things considered, because obviously we're going very, very fast in a highly elliptical orbit. However, we will get around to fixing this. And as you can see, our periapsis has actually fallen beneath 100 kilometers now, owing to the changes in our pitch relative to the surface. So we're going to cancel that manoeuvre node, and we're going to do a bit of correcting here. As you can see, our orbit is currently 105 by 90 kilometers, which we're going to fix. Having said that, we do also need to see if we can find ourselves close to the station. So we're going to decrease our periapsis a little bit and see if we can catch up to the station. However, we're not having much luck, so ultimately we are going to push our well, firstly we're going to circularise our orbit again, just to ensure that, you know, we're not going to plummet back into the atmosphere for whatever reason. Once again, it's not exactly circular, owing to us trying to catch the laboratory there. So that manoeuvre's done, back into 100 by 100. We're going to push out our apoapsis a little bit and see if the station can catch up to us. And it looks like we do have an intersect with a separation of roughly 10-11 kilometers following this manoeuvre, so we're absolutely going to see if we can take this opportunity. And as you can see, the intersect is getting closer as we've set the station as a target. See if we can get it closer somehow. However, I don't think there's much point as we warp to our intersect. Apparently we can do an EVA report, which I unfortunately missed. And as you can see, the station is now, or laboratory better yet, is now within visual range. So from here, we just got to kill our relative velocity and see if we can drift our way towards it, which is a bit of a finicky process, owing to the fact that this engine is a little bit unnecessarily powerful for orbital manoeuvres. But regardless, we're within half a kilometre, and now we just need to correctly position ourselves relative to the rear docking port, or not rear docking port, sorry, but the front docking port, obviously on top of the command cupola on this laboratory here. And killing our velocity. I made a bit of a mistake here when it came to the placement of RCS thrusters, which I will need to address during the next iteration of this particular vehicle. If we do decide to continue using this, only time will tell. So we need to see if we can set the docking port as a target. As you can see, we can reach it from the side. Now in docking mode. And the eagle-eyed of you may have seen the issue with which we're facing now. When we're pointing with a 0 degrees roll, we don't have any left and right translation control, as we only have a pair of RCS thrusters on either side with no outwards pointing nozzle. So we have to roll and then use up and down translation to control our sideways translation, which is not ideal. However, we are making it work. So far so good. 2 meters away from the docking port. And it looks like the magnets have kicked in now, so we're going to switch off our SAS. And the magnet should pull our nose into place. And we have successfully docked with the station. Wonderful stuff. Hello guys, how you doing today? I bring you data for your laboratory. Albert has his work cut out. So surface sample, send back to the laboratory, absolutely. Crew reports, we can actually transmit this. Process that in the lab. Material study, absolutely. And if we switch to that now, you can see that with 506 data, it's going to be generating just over 6 units of science per day, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, it's at this rate where obviously I remember we've bought some struts. And what I want to do is strut up the rear kind of fuel ship that we docked last episode with the rest of the station. However, I'm not 100% sure on how we do this, other than the fact that we do need an engineer to do so. So Lido, let's see if you can figure out what you need to do to make this work. And I'm absolutely not pinning this on Lido just because I am clueless myself. I'd assume I need to move this into my inventory somehow. I'm not sure if I could just go ahead and place this like I can parts in the vehicle assembly building, but it doesn't seem to be working. So I think obviously this won't be our first time docking with the station. I'm sure there'll be plenty more missions to come. So we might have to abort this for now as we accidentally put Lido in the wrong cupola there. That's very much where Mumrick lives, piloting the station. Well, piloting a station as much as you can pilot a station. Probably just enjoying the view and eating snacks, having naps, all the good stuff. So Lido, let's pop you back in the lab with Mumrick. Keep him some company, improve productivity, you know how it is. Now we need to review our experiments as well, just having a look at our fuel levels, all looking good. Now we're going to review our experiments stored in the experiment storage units, which I forgot we had. So if we just take a quick look at our stored data here. Atmospheric pressure scan, we can keep that, that's not going to the lab. Crew reports, we can transmit that back to the KSC. Temperature scan, keep that data so we can wring some more science out of it. And with that done, that is our main objective complete. Which means that from now, all we need to do is undock and see if we can get Bob home in one piece. So we're going to do that. We're going to undock from the command cupola of the laboratory here. And we seem to be on the light side. I don't know why I needed to check the map to do that, because obviously I can see beneath us, but it's very not dark. So point retrograde. RCS away just to ensure that we don't fire our main engine at the station, and slowly drift away. We're also going to switch to the station and point it prograde here, just for the sake of making sure that we do have the required electric charge. I'm sure the batteries are sufficient, especially given the fact that we did bring some more batteries on the refueling unit there, which is now the propulsion unit to assist with OMS. For all intents and purposes, I do think that is going to stay, as it looks quite cool in my opinion, and obviously it gives us an additional engine to use. And we finish our manoeuvre with the station here. It's taking its time. We might need to bring some more RCS fuel or some reaction wheels, but that's a mission for another time, right? As we fire our thrusters, or better yet, we're going to switch our TUFX settings here quickly, just to demonstrate how awesome the Firefly re-entry mod is as we burn away from the station. See you guys later. We'll let you know if Bob gets home in one piece. As we finish the fuel there, and we're going to see if we can push ourselves away and expose the heat shields to the elements as and when. We're going to move, obviously, the experiment storage away from the atmosphere, or better yet, point it upwards so the heat shield can take the brunt of the force. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, travelling very quickly into the atmosphere. We're going to turn off the HUD, and you can see how beautiful the Firefly mod actually is. Look at this. This is Kerbal Space Program 2 graphics in Kerbal Space Program 1 minus the performance loss, and this is absolutely incredible. Taking a few screenshots here. That trail of smoke at the bottom there is actually our other stage re-entering as well. And that is absolutely gorgeous. As we're now through the worst of the heating effect. And we are now able to pop the parachutes. However, we'll be doing so once we make it through the cloud layer, just so it doesn't take too long. Switch back to Blackrak's profile, which we've been using this whole time. Time warp through the clouds. Absolutely stunning. Almost home, Bob. 2 kilometers above the surface. We're going to pop those parachutes. We're actually going to increase our opening altitudes as for taking our sweet time and we're going a little bit fast. However, so far so good. And chutes are open, so now we're just time warping down to the surface and we'll be able to recover Bob and send him on another mission as and when. 100 meters, 50, 20, 10, and touchdown. Heat shield is exploded, but that's nothing out of the ordinary, right? All the important bits were in one piece, most importantly our Kerbal, as he brings home 137.5 science and leaves the rest to be processed in the station for hopefully some chunky returns. And it appears that Bob has a few ribbons, being, let's have a look here, the Research 5 ribbon, the Kerbin Docking ribbon, the Kerbin Orbital EVA ribbon, the first Minmus Surface EVA ribbon, Low Gravity Landing 10% ribbon, the first landing on Minmus ribbon, of course, Minmus EVA ribbon, Minmus Orbits ribbon, and a heavy vehicle launch ribbon. Well done, Bob. Thank you for your contributions today as we warp to the sunrise here for another beautiful day at the Kerbin Space Centre. Amazing. And brings us to a nice total of 321 science points. And as you can see, 6 science per day from the station. Objective complete. And with that, I would like to say thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy today's episode, please do like and subscribe for more Kerbal Space Program and related content, and I will see you guys in the next one.